Yeah, editorial. But before the editorial, I think said there is nothing bigger than these two guys and their rivalry, as Statibium. The breaking news here is that Lionel Andres Messi is going to Saudi Arabia, and the report looks very credible from so many sites in Saudi Arabia. The report is that Lionel Messi will be earning around 522 million at the end of the deal, around 522 million, just above what Ronaldo has signed for. So Leo Messi, after all that, and it makes sense because Leo Messi, the ambassador for Saudi Arabia in terms of tourism, and the country has tried as much as possible to get the leverage from Ronaldo. And they can quantify that, and as they cannot quantify the amount of eyeballs they've gotten from Ronaldo deal. Even Ronaldo at that point was not going to the biggest club. Now it is Al-Hilal, the biggest club, or one of the biggest in that Gulf region, after Messi. 522. This is the amount they are going to pay for Messi's signature to come to Saudi Arabia. And apart from football, there are so many things that they expect him to do. You remember what happened with Xavi Okoye, apart from coaching, he was an ambassador for them. So Lionel Messi, they think say he can play 1 or 2 years in the Saudi Arabia League. Now on carpenter for the farmers for the kakra. After that, he will also be an ambassador. Already, he has a deal with Saudi Arabia for more than 4 years to promote the country in terms of tourism. We saw him in the zoo. Any or more legacy buildings and some of the antique places that they have trying to market the country. And it all comes down to the fact that Lionel Messi and Ronaldo are the two biggest brands in the world. Lionel Messi, who said this year, Ronaldo is the highest paid footballer in the world. No country in the world will be able to pay a footballer the amount that Saudi Arabia paid for Ronaldo. And now Messi will become the highest paid ever. Nobody will be able to usurp 522 million. 522 million. So the story is here. 522 million contract to Al-Hilal to reignite the rivalry with Ronaldo. And this sensational big money to Saudi Arabia from Paris Saint-Germain is a done deal, according to reports in Saudi Arabia and France. And the massive 522 million contract at Saudi side, Al-Hilal, it's a reporter, Gada. You know what? Saudi Arabia would want to put in a bid for the World Cup 2030. This is Saudi Arabia. They want to put in a bid for the World Cup in 2030. And Omun say Achakra, they should host the World Cup in 2032. When it says here, they want to play the World Cup in 2 years. So if they are not able to host in 2030, they will have to host it in 2032 or 34. And now when you want to watch World Cup now, they are not like Africans who would want to wait for the time. Remember Qatar started bidding for the World Cup in 2002. They started their preparation to bid for the World Cup. How many years down? They hosted it 20 years later. But they started their whole football revolution in 2002. Nobody gave a damn about Qatar in 2000 or 99 football. And even in 2010, when the bid was named, people said they cannot be able to host. It's a small country. You can't even turn around. Nobody gave them a dog's chance. But they planned. They started with ambassadors. One of the first, Abedi Pele and the likes. So many ambassadors that they named. And they, Beckham, Zidane, all of them. This is what Saudi Arabia knows. For what Qatar has done. Now, is there somebody in this world who doesn't know Qatar? Obia, just say I won't now, sir. But anybody who is supposed to know names of countries know Qatar. They know what is there. And the interest has gone there. Now the misconception and the impression about Qatar, it has been washed away completely. Exactly what Saudi Arabia want to do. Saudi Arabia want to start by getting ambassadors to open their country. How many of you had watched the Saudi Arabian League highlights on Twitter, on YouTube, but for Ronaldo? But today, you check Saudi Arabia league table. You check their stadia. Ronaldo is going to play away game. You see the stadia, you say, wow. Sometimes, intentionally, they capture the dressing rooms for you to see where Ronaldo is. It was small team be away. It's wow. You don't know how that pans into getting the country's World Cup bid set in tone. So Messi will further. And Messi, he is going to further increase the eyeballs because Ronaldo and Messi will play twice or 4 times a year if Ronaldo doesn't leave. And Ronaldo, who's a Messi, he will not leave. Yeah. They will pay him more to stay. So definitely, it is a good deal for Saudi Arabia. If it comes through, Paris Saint-Germain will want to take the deal, 520 million, 22 million pounds for a year, Lionel Messi, to go to Saudi Arabia. These people, they don't care. They can pay 1 billion by calculating to know the return, the ROI, the return on their investment will be instant. If not instant, they cannot even quantify how much they will make from Lionel Messi deal. So the story is that Saudi Arabia will now go in for Lionel Messi to Al-Hilal, and the deal is almost done. Boy, no crime, sure say oko hono. Na oko akwa try say obetimi anya ne sika. Na oni omako akodi nkomo. And all that will be the things that Saudi Arabia for no are going to do. And me try say ye behu officially say na Ronaldo dey start here. But officially ye behu say Lionel Messi is going to Saudi Arabia. But the whole point is that the bigger picture is the World Cup that Saudi Arabia want to bid. It's a World Cup that Saudi Arabia want to bid and host. But then also they want to market their league. They want people to watch the league. They want television right to increase. They want more people to have confidence in Saudi Arabia league. If you put money in it, you will get it back. But they are not looking at it from today. They are looking at it in the next 20, 30, 40 years time.
It's very possible. Possible because since Ronaldo called, and a lot of journalists, supporters want to watch his highlights.
Exactly.
Maybe your BBS in Buofu or Butu bottle and also a story. But I'm sure some Messi so corner will ignite their rivalry.
Yes.
Me sure say BT Sports, other broadcasting television stations would want to go back and say, okay, we want the right to broadcast the games. Say who Messi say game Al-Hilal and Al-Nasr a tough game they are rivalries or the Saudi league. In the Bemi they say Messi call to Saudi Arabia. No, but I was asking this question. My name is Say Messi Ronaldo rivalry no. They are all in their 30s.
Yeah.
Your mom with 10 years in Kamu. They will be fading off gradually.
Yes.
Are there going to be another rivalries, whether 2 players or 3 players?
Yeah, it's never happened. It's never happened like players me no but we don't need rivalries all the time.
Okay.
We just need one incredible player, and I'm sure that there are a lot.
Okay.
There are a lot on the world football space. There are a lot of players on the world football space who may get to the level. You bet me vote you almost a Ballon d'Or.
Okay.
And yet there be any ebenya that Lumba, Nana Champon, that Lumba Kodrenchi. But you will get Sarkodie sometime. Okay. You will get Stoneboy sometime. Okay. So you don't need rivalry. Omudiana day it will take years.
Yeah.
For 10 years period. 10-year period. 2 players are competing for one title. It will be difficult. But then we don't need that. We had Marco Van Basten, we have George Oponwia, we had so many players taking it. So if we get a best player, there's Mbappe, there are a lot of players there, Haaland and all that's coming. So all we need is to get, we will not stop producing players in the world.
Sure.
But then I like what the vision of Saudi Arabia and the Gulf.
Great.
Omoye people who didn't even like football. They were not people who were even interested in sports. Started with their oil, started with their trade, started with their education, started the science and all that. Then you remember them. These Arabs almost started with commerce. They started with science. They started with trade. They started being merchants. They come down here. Look at what they are doing. From desert, they are turning the desert into arable lands. They are turning their desert, gold, oil. Now they have come to capture football. They will be in this contention in few years with China. Because China is our target. Now US, episode host to World Cup. They have tried, but almost So didn't you know? Omo kill omo traditional sport in the US.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill omo football. No.
Yeah.
They call football and soccer. They don't want to kill their football. They say omo person omo jiatum. Say they want to make football the number one sport because they have their sports there. But China need those places, you know. They want to capture football because they have seen what football has done for other countries. What is done for Qatar, Japan, Korea. They will transform football in those two countries. Japan, Korea, and South Korea. All of a sudden, obey a big gun. You say South Korea before then. They had gone to the World Cup. Was it semi-final or so? Omone Portugal, one interesting game, and Omo called down. But before 2002, they started coming up. Japan to the same. Omo World Cup. You can see, say they are playing. The league there is strong.
They are big guns.
China for no. So these are things that people have started. Football will become great in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, and all these places. Now, what they want from football is not what we want. They will see more than we see. Football terrorism, all that they have calculated, and they are going for Messi. So Messi to Saudi Arabia is all but done, according to reports.